money and I did it my way. Blackball from the game, caught me cast away. Waiting on my downfall, gotta stay ahead. Don't just cut me off, patience hanging by a thread.
What is going on, everyone? It's Johnny Dunn, and we are back with another one. Today, we have a special episode. Today, we have one of the VeVe OGs. We have a pioneer in the VeVe photography game. We have a Discord mod. We have the famous Claire Griffiths. Welcome, Claire. Welcome.
Hi, Johnny. It's so lovely to be speaking to you again.
Absolutely. It's been a while since we last spoke. I think the last time we spoke in one of these Zoom interviews might have been on Chad NFT Pirates Master Collector Edition with David Yu. It's been that long.
I know. Oh, yeah. But that was the Zoom of all Zooms, wasn't it?
That was amazing. We got a glimpse of David Yu's collection, just a glimpse. But that kind of dives me right into things in your collection. But before we get into your big collection, I want to find out, how did Claire, all the way from Wales, we got to talk about where Wales is because some people may not know. How did someone like you, Claire, find VeVe, and when did you find VeVe?
Okay, so Wales is a country within the United Kingdom that we've got our own language and we're quite patriotic, and we managed to get our football team into the World Cup, first time since the 1960s. So
huge.
Although we went out in the first round, it doesn't matter because just being there was massive sort
just
of
to
thing.
Make it.
Yeah, I think we drew with you, so it wasn't too bad, was it?
No, right, exactly. I think you guys just making it was a huge accomplishment. Yeah.
Wow, yeah. So, I mean, people normally know who Gareth Bale is, who's one of our probably most well-known footballers. So that's kind of put Wales on the map for us. But it's like a little country with 3 million population. So we're not big, but yeah, we're getting, we're making it. So
getting there.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I found Omi first, and I did all the research, and I decided I was going to put some money in and dip my toes in Omi, and that was way back in February 2021. And then, of course, you can't put your money into something without doing your own research. And then the research was, well, if I'm going to invest in it, I'm going to have to see what this app is all about. So I downloaded the VeVe app, and yeah, I think it was a bit of, I didn't quite know what I was looking at to begin with, I think. And if you'd have told me I would have been spending the amount of money that I'm spending now way back then, I would have thought you were mad. But
Same.
Anyway, I'm here.
Same.
It's nuts.
So all the way back in March of 2021, it feels probably like years and years ago, right? But were you into crypto before you found Omi? Or was Omi one of your first crypto?
Yeah, I mean, I had, just the usual Bitcoin and ETH, and I was just dabbling with loads of other shit coins at the time. And it was kind of pumping from that Christmas onwards. So it was like a small pump, but whatever you put your money in, you could kind of make money. And then obviously things change quite quickly, as we know.
They did change quickly.
Yes, more than once.
Like the bottom dropped out of everything,
Oh, definitely. So I was kind of, if I was making money in the crypto, I was ending up taking it out and then putting it into fiat again, only to go and buy more gems. So it was all a bit
big circle.
Yeah, so basically everything I owned in crypto ended up either being Omi or VeVe, so either way they managed. I mean, talk about diversify. My portfolio, I would say, is about 95% Omi/VeVe. So yeah, I'm nuts. I know I'm nuts, but I enjoy it.
That kind of led me to my other question I had a little bit later, but we can go right from here. Now, how do you decide where you're going to put a little bit of your extra income in now, Omi or VeVe, or is it kind of still split, or is it, kind of?
Yeah, I
depends
think
on what drops.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm going to put it into Omi, and then they keep dropping something, and I'm like, oh,
the struggle.
Yeah, and then it's a struggle. And then because they're doing these airdrops as well, they're putting like this, I don't know, I need to get it even quicker. So I suffer bad from FOMO, and this is like bad for me, you know.
Right.
So yeah, it's like when they, I don't know, I've not bought the latest round of James Bond posters, so
Okay.
I've kind of, so you watch that Secret Rare will be worth a fortune now that I haven't bought it.
Right. That's how it always works, right? When you don't buy it, you look at it, prices go
Moons.
up. Right.
But you know, if they do one with, say, I don't know, with Disney or something, then I have to get it then, because it's like, yeah, my heart takes over my head, unfortunately. So yeah, it's I like to complete sets as well, so it's
Mm.
just a recipe for a disaster for me, really.
Speaking of sets, we can kind of get into your collection a little bit earlier. I was gonna save that towards the end, but since we're talking about it, do you mind sharing how many sets you do have now? Because I remember I was looking at your collection. I was like, yeah, we're pretty close. And then all of a sudden I look again and I was like, whoa, Claire is the master collector of master collectors.
I mean, my collection's not big compared to a lot of people, but at the moment, what have I got in sets? So I've got 196 sets as of today. So
Let's
I want to close
go.
it. I know my
Trying to get to
milestone's going to
200, I
be
bet.
200. I
Right.
know, but yeah, I want it to be special, but it'll probably end up being something that I didn't expect it to be. But yeah,
Never
and
know.
then
Never know.
I
Speaking
never
of
know, but
speaking of Disney, you mentioned we do see, VeVe just teased something coming. I think it's the last set of the Mickey Mouse NFT collection. They
yeah,
didn't. They announced that. They didn't say exact. I think they might have said what it was, but they didn't announce the edition count or anything like that just yet. It's
no, I think the medium's on its way, but yeah, it's going to be the finale. So we'll have had the Steamboat Willie, the band, the Fantasia. I know it's not called Fantasia, but that's what I call it. And then
right.
now we've just got him on his holidays to finish it. So I'm looking forward to that, because
And I'm
yeah.
guessing you have all the other sets in that collection. Right. Very nice. I actually just completed the last what was the Fantasia one? Yeah, I think I didn't have the secret rare of that one. I had the animated one, and so I finished that set. I wanted to have the full collection. There's not many that I have the full collection of besides the Disney Golden Moments. And so for me, I love completing the collection of something I really, really like. And I bet you have that same kind of feeling as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still saving up for my Walt, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
getting closer. He's getting closer. Then
Providing
that
another
will then,
opportunity.
I know, so that would then finish off my golden moments, because I've got all the others
Oh,
except
good
for the
for you.
Walt.
Good for
So
you.
once I've got that, then obviously I'll be a happy bunny, but
Right,
still
right, right.
chasing.
And speaking of, I'll get into your collection as we're talking about your collection. I see you have a Harley Quinn behind you.
Oh, my baby.
Now, one of my questions I have for you was, what is your favorite collectible? And then it's like, what is your favorite set or your favorite full collection? I would have to guess this is your favorite set, like completed, right?
Oh, I mean, I love all the Harleys. I've got to have all the Harleys. It's kind of like I didn't like Harley as in wanting to own her before VeVe. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, VeVe's created me into a bit of a Harley
And
collector.
did Vivi get you into a collector as well, not just a Harley Quinn fan?
I mean, I used to collect things before, but it was all about Winnie the Pooh and
Ooh.
Disney beanies and a lot of Disney things that I used to collect. So when VeVe got Disney, that was like, oh
That
wow,
announcement had to be just unbelievable for you.
yeah. And what I used to do, I'm going back about 18 years, maybe 20 years. I used to collect all the Disney beanies, but especially Winnie the Pooh. And then it kind of got to a stage where I would buy some and I'd buy extra, and then I'd swap them with people in America because the British ones would be different. And
Very
yeah,
cool. Very cool.
I used to go with empty suitcases to Disneyland Paris for the day to buy all the beanies and take back with me.
I
That was
bet
a
David,
day
you
and a
can
half.
relate to that. I bet David can relate to that for sure.
Yeah, I'm not quite on the pallet stage as David is, but I had my little suitcases empty and they come back full. But yeah, it was just the need to be there when they would open a new collection or something like that in the store, or there'd be a new ride or something.
The
So
excitement
that,
around it all.
I know, and just that feeling of walking into the park as well. And yeah, then the kids got a few holidays out of my obsession. So
I bet they appreciated that.
they don't remember it that much, but they know they've been, bless them. So
Now, is Steve Pugh your favorite Harley Quinn
yeah.
out of the set? Okay.
Yeah, she's the one that I probably saved the longest and the hardest for. And I think she's the one where, you know, when you regret not buying it when you first started, what I don't know is what she was kind of in the market for when I first started, because she did sell out
Pretty
by
quickly.
the beginning of March. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought I had a really good deal at 4,500, but yeah, she's a bit lower now. But
you know, it is a season 1. It's a first edition, and we see now there's only one other set, I believe, that have the first edition tags. That's an actual like collectible person character, like I think it's the series 1 Batman. They all have first editions besides the Todd McFarlane. So that set right there, I don't have the full set. I only have the 2 uncommons. In that set, I don't have the Terry Dobson or the Steve Pugh, but I believe, not financial advice, of course, my opinion, but that's another set from season 1 that I think is going to do really well, not only because it's Harley Quinn, but because the tags have that like mistake that they kept. So they're all first edition, where if they dropped now, they'd be either nothing or first appearance. So
yeah, that's true. And do you know what? I'm kind of hoping they do what they did with the Todd. Can you imagine set holders getting a whitelist to I don't know, a special Harley? That would be like my Christmases all come at once.
that would be amazing. Even for someone that doesn't have the full set, I would love to see that, because it shows that, you know, the team, David, Dan, Alex, everybody involved, they're in the community listening. They know what these collectors want. They understand that you want to be rewarded. It's obviously a bonus, but it feels good being rewarded on a collector's app built by collectors to see some of these collectors be rewarded. Now, we know with the bigger IP, it may take a little bit longer, but we're already seeing it happening. So I think it's amazing just that, you know, it's rolling out. It may not happen right away, but for series 1, first collection type stuff, I would love to keep seeing that happen.
I see you've got the Todd Batman physical and the comic.
A little bit. Now, I will have to say, the last time I went on Comics and Crypto's podcast, shout out to Sean, I had my Todd comic book up on the shelf, and I went to go bring it down to show him. I put it back up there, and it fell, and it cracked the slab. So in the bottom corner of, I guess I'll show you guys. Let's hope I don't have a mistake in bringing
it. Don't drop it again.
I know, right?
Oh.
Right. So it's not the worst case scenario, but in this corner here, you can kind of see.
Oh, it's chipped.
Chipped a little bit. Now there's like 2 cases. It's like the outer case that's only chipped, so the inner case is still fine. It kind of gives me a way to get it signed, hopefully by Todd, and then get it reslabbed is my goal, I would say. But I absolutely love it. It's my first ever comic book. And when I got it, you know, I didn't think I would be really into comics. But when I got it, like, and it was graded and everything, there's something about holding a graded slab. I'm like, wow, it feels like a trophy almost, or like a big plaque or something. So that's my baby. That's my baby.
Oh, definitely.
Now,
yeah, I haven't ventured into the comics because I find I've got nowhere to put things as it is. I got a few of the physical Harleys. I got the Stephen Pooh because I had
nice. So you're able to kind of match the digital and the physical. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. Do you want to hear a funny story about that?
Yeah.
You know, Silicon Secure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He has.
Shout out to Silicon.
Definitely shout out to Silicon, but he was trying to match his Harley Quinn to his physical, and I had the VeVe version, so we had this kind of like
the mint number.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, he just put it out and it was mine, and we had this discussion about, because obviously it'd be more difficult to ship a physical than it is to just you could transfer back in those days. It's going back quite a long time. So I ended up giving him my digital, and he sent me his digital of a different mint, and he just gave me something as a thank you as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
Do you know what? It was such a strange feeling sending that Harley Quinn because it felt as if I was giving one of my kids away and changing it for another kid. I thought, I'm going through this. It's only a different mint, Claire. It's not the end of the world.
Right. But they say that shows your passion and your love for these things. And that's where, we're so early in this entire space to where there's a lot of speculators, people just in it for the money. And yeah, sometimes when you make a profit, it's great too. But people don't understand there's big time collectors on this app, like yourself, who really genuinely love these collectibles, physical, digital. Like that's the part where people are missing. I think over time, as this space gets more common, people get more familiar with it, we're going to see a lot more collectors like yourself, Claire, where they love these collectibles, and the whole physical and digital relationship is going to explode, in my opinion. So shout out to Silicon. That's amazing. He was able to match it up and you were able to help him out with that. And breaking news, this is going to be old when it comes out, but we just got the new drop announcement details on the Mickey Mouse
It's
collection.
come out.
So I'll go over the edition count real quick and we'll get back to your collection because it's amazing. I absolutely love your collection. We have a couple different rarities. There's 3 different rarities, a $60 list price. The first one's a rare. It's 2,940 editions. It's animated.
So that looks good.
So we have a nice animation on one of them.
Oh.
And that's the rare. Then
I like that they're doing that now because it means more people can own the animated version.
Similar with that Fantasia.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we have the ultra rare. It's 1,340 editions. Pretty scarce.
Wow. Oh, that's the one that's on the picture at the front, isn't it?
Yep. Exactly. And then we have the secret rare, 940 editions. Another static one, but under 1,000 editions. So, in my opinion, I look at this as like a blessing to releasing this in a bear market. Hopefully, it comes out cheap enough to where we may be able to complete this, because this is a set where it's not FA, and it's not the first appearance, which I'm big on, but it's the finale of the whole collection. So the Mickey Mouse fans out there, which in a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, the Mickey Mouse NFT collection, I think people are going to be, it could be in high demand. Not financial advice, but so that's another thing. It is a bear market, so times are hard, but as collectors, it's a blessing because we get to still collect at these prices. And we saw how hard it was to collect during a bull market with January, February prices. So I think this is actually like a blessing for us.
It's funny how your brain switches though, because
right.
I sit there and I think, oh, I've spent how many gems on that, and it's now like 90% down. And so instead of dwelling on how much I've overspent on the other things, I'm like a kid in a candy store thinking, oh, this is like January sales. This is like Black Friday sales.
Right. The other thing is, like, exactly like you said, it's crazy how the mind switches like that. But I look at it like this, if VeVe NFTs were the only thing that was down, 90% or whatever it is, I'd be a little like, okay, maybe it's, but when you look around at the whole economy, all NFTs are down, crypto's down, stock markets are down. Everything is in a, look at grocery prices of some of these groceries. So we're just, I believe, just in kind of like a macroeconomic downturn. And so, of course, these digital collectibles, which is such a new space, it could, take the brunt face of that. And we're seeing that in prices. But just like anything, cycles happen. I was watching a little bit of NFT Pirates and Silicon's video that they put out today, and he talked about the same thing. The big time collectors, the whales, you look at their wallet activity and they're still collecting. So, it goes to show that there are still collectors like yourself and a lot of other people who just genuinely love these IP brands that they keep releasing in different formats, whether it's animated, non-animated, but it still looks like a premium quality. So just goes to show that collectors are going to collect,
But we've been here before, haven't we? How many times have we seen the sentiment of the market go down, and then what was it? Marvel gets released and it's like everything's forgotten.
And then a little bit of time would go by, we have another round of FUD, people complain, and then a couple of weeks go by, not only Marvel's here, we have Marvel comic books. Woo! Everyone's going crazy again. Then a little bit of time goes by. Everyone, oh man, maybe it's over, maybe it's down. And then we announced Disney. Woo! And then, so like, that was a question I have for you too. You've been around for a lot of these cycles. How would you kind of not educate, because we're not giving financial advice, of course, but maybe just talking through experience to like someone who's never seen a bear market? Do you have anything to kind of say to them? Maybe if they're worried, if it'll ever come back again or anything like that?
I mean, none of us know what the future holds. I always say invest what you can afford to lose, but I know a lot of people have over leveraged, and I understand, that there's a lot of fear out there and people are looking for answers and are looking for people to blame. I mean, it's human nature. Even I've doubted at times, but it's when all the negativity around you starts
It's
biting
contagious.
and then you get said, oh, you're still drinking the Kool-Aid, or you're just a fangirl anyway, and all this. And then you start thinking, if somebody tells you enough times that, wake up, you start thinking, really? But then I kind of go back to why I first got involved in VeVe and why I love taking my characters out in AR. What would I do if VeVe was to go to zero? Well, I'd still be out there taking my pictures, still playing in the app, and still, having fun. There are people in this community, as that, are such great people that
Really
we've met
is.
through VeVe, and you can't take that away. And I suppose I've got faith in the team, and that's what drives me to move forward. And I see them carrying on, regardless. Yeah. And they keep bringing new stuff. They keep pushing the boundaries, and they are making, waves in the NFT scene.
During a bear market too. We're making waves in a bear market too. So,
and we've seen what happened in January when everything just mooned, and we've all learned that we have to take profits. I've learned to double up on things now. I've learned that yes, it's okay to sell.
Right. That's my biggest learned lesson as well too. It's okay to, because the thing is, like, I was lucky enough to get a lot of duplicates, but I always tell people, when you do have duplicates, you're still going to be attached to those duplicates. You may get 5 of, like, I had like 7 first appearance Jokers, and when it came time I had to let them go. I was like, I don't know if I don't want to let go of these. I'm like, but I had 7 for a reason to let go. So it's like, it's okay to let go of some of these collectibles, if you're going to invest it in something else that you really, really want or believe in, or whatever the case is. That's something that I had to learn as well too.
But I know you and me, we've discussed this in the past, and this is something that we both experienced. But it's as if we put something to sell in the market, people always think the worst. It's like, what, even Claire and Johnny are selling, it must be bad.
You get all the DMs. Like, no. Yo, why are you selling this collectible? It's like, it's either I need some gems right now. I need some gems. Unfortunately, we don't have unlimited money, so we're collectors. There's probably something else we want to collect that we just can't, put in more money in or something like that. But it is funny how it kind of like puts some people red alert, like,
then they undercut you, and you're like, yeah, thanks for that.
Right.
I wanted to sell A to buy B, and now I've got to find another way to afford it.
Absolutely. Now, were you? I don't know if you were able to get any of your other family into VeVe. Maybe no one else in your family is really into it yet, or is anyone else from your family in it?
I mean,
you the main one.
My dad's got some of the season 1 things. He got a few of the Batmans because he bought them at retail. He also got a set of DeLoreans because he got one of the kids to do it for him. And yeah, I think Chris got him a couple of the
early ones.
He managed to get him the whole set, but I didn't get secret rare or ultra rare, was it back then? So yeah. My mum, she's got a little collection that she does it with me as well, but she's not, she's more like, oh, let me know when there's something worth going for. She's not as into it, but her collection's mainly see, like season one. So they're the OG ones and the Adventure Times and stuff like that. Not
Okay.
Donnie, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, the kids. I mean, my eldest, he went rogue. He used to help me on the drops, but then obviously he understood the worth of what was being done, and then he wanted to do it himself. So he had a tantrum, refused to help me, and he then wanted me to gift him and it was a hoverboard, the ultra rare Back to the Future 2-1.
The one with the boosters on it, right?
Yeah. So he got it on drop, and then he said, right, for everything I've done for you, you've got to give me this. So yeah. Because he got me loads of drops up to that point. So I gifted it him, and he's turned it into like 5,000 worth collection.
So he learned how to flip. That's
He's a
amazing.
proper flipper. Yeah, I mean, he has no attachment. He just sees price.
That's clutch.
And
that's the biggest thing is
does it.
when you have an attachment to something, some of these brands, because it could be just the way the collectible looks or the brand. I've noticed it with me. Like, I would say I'm pretty anything Batman. I have a little bit more like emotional attachment to, just because Batman is one of my favorite superheroes growing up. But then there's some like the Dragon Girl. I wasn't the biggest Tokidoki fan. I learned who Simone Legnu was, but just the aesthetics of the way the gold and the silver shine together. That's something that the aesthetics of that one I'm attached to. I watched it go up that thing like 4,000, and I have two of them. I was like, no, I need two for my center showcase when people walk in my room.
Yeah.
I still have the two, and I always thought about letting one go because of the two and just using like the gold and silver and then the all gold secret rare one that came out later. But like my stunt in the VeVe home is going to be having those 2 season 1 Dragon Girls as soon as you walk into my VeVe house. I've always had that vision, so I'm trying to stick with it, but we'll see what happens every time. I feel like I can't let it go now too, because I just posted I tweeted it, I Instagram posted, so it's like, all right, I can't sell it now. I would get death threats. so I was like, it's so hard too, because sometimes I'll just make a post of something I like, and then I think about it, I'm like, the optics of this, how would this look if I was to sell it? So it's like Dragon Girl, I have it listed at like 7.7 million just so people can see it and follow me. But like that's one that I plan on holding now because I made a post about it. So it's tough sometimes to like post stuff that you like, because then you have to think about, well, if I'd let this go, people are gonna come from my neck. So it's like those I just plan on holding.
But yeah, I'm quite lucky in that sense, because if I say I like something, everybody goes, oh yeah, you like everything. I go, yeah. It just means nothing when I say I like something, because
I was going to ask you kind of touched on it a little bit with the VeVe photography. How did you get into, because you're known, especially in the early days, Claire, of your amazing photos of all these VeVe collectibles. So how did you get into it? What made you kind of start doing that? Was that something you liked doing, or?
Honestly, it was just I think it was a competition that they were running where it was just like the VeVe art show.
Oh, the first VeVe art show. I remember.
First one.
Shout out to Kyle Wilson. I think he helped run that one. So that's definitely legendary, because I'm sure there's going to be more art shows. So the first one's kind of, OG.
Yeah, I think they made a special category for me to give me a prize because it was like, because everybody else was doing all these like major things with the vaults. They were using the collectibles in all different ways, whereas I was just taking them out and putting them in stunning backgrounds because that's where I live, sort of thing. So yeah, they made a little special one for me and gave me a prize. And then
that's amazing.
It was other people like saying, oh, but I love it. And I'm like, what, you actually like my photos?
They're iconic.
So that's why it started it. And then it was like, right, I'm gonna have to climb that mountain now to get the view from there. I'm gonna have to go here to do that. I'm going out in pouring rain to waterfalls just to take pictures and stuff. It's nuts.
It may sound nuts, but that's exactly what David's vision was for this, because he always talked about how like metaverses, people are like stuck inside, and for the VeVe app with the augmented reality, his vision was to get people out and kind of outside of that whole metaverse and really experience these collectibles in real life. So I think it might have seemed weird or whatever to some people because it was so new. We were so early. but he was probably like, yes, you know, like that was his whole entire vision. So it was just it's kind of cool to see that play out like that.
And it's quite funny because obviously when you're outside and you're taking these pictures in AR, you've got to make them hit the ground and stuff, and you do look strange to people because you know you're there hovering with your phone.
Imagine when we have the AR glasses and we're all just like looking around. People are really gonna think we're crazy then.
But it does, you do feel like you're going into the world, because I think the worst thing I did, but the funniest in another way, was when I first got my Harley Quinn. I took it to this place where there was a river, and then when they hit the water, they drift off. And I went to grab her and fell in.
I think you told that story before. Oh my gosh. I remember you saying that. That's unbelievable. If only there was a video of it.
Oh, do you know what? I died. I could have broken my phone. And
yeah, I'm glad you were okay.
I know. Well, I didn't know. I couldn't have died. It wasn't deep or anything like that, but I could have died with embarrassment if somebody saw me. So I'm to go and sit in the car with a soggy bottom.
Oh, jeez.
And I had an hour and a half drive home, you know, with the car seat with the heated seat on, in the hope that I would dry off by the time I got to the shop.
Oh, man.
Because it looked like I wet myself, literally.
Oh, jeez. VeVe NFTs will have you going all over the place, you know?
Oh, I mean, when I sit and think about holidays, I think that'd be good because there's some really nice places I could take my VeVes.
I think one day I could definitely see them. I don't know if they touch on this on the early days or in AMAs, but like geolocation, so where you may have to travel to Disney World and it'll unlock like a certain collectible or something like that. I could see them definitely incorporating.
That'd be dangerous though, wouldn't it? Can you imagine?
Everybody be traveling everywhere. It kind of, you know, it says we only have about 6 minutes and 40 seconds left, and I have to upgrade to the pro version of Zoom. I mean, we could always stop it and start it again, but
yeah, we'll stop and start again.
We could definitely do that. But traveling everywhere, it got me to kind of ask, or want me to ask you a little bit, Owen. Have you ever been to a VeVe con, as I would say, a Comic-Con where VeVe's at or anything like that? So you've been to a couple events so far?
I've been to the one which was in London, and wow, it was just, I mean, it was small, don't get me wrong, but it was as if VeVe took over.
That's what I heard.
It was amazing because it gave us a chance to meet everybody. But I came away thinking, oh, I haven't spent much time with all these people, and I'm desperate to go to the next one. And yeah, I wish I was in Anaheim because it looked like...
Anaheim was amazing. You know what's so funny is I should have went to the one in New York because I live in New Jersey. So it would have only been maybe a few hour drive for me to go to New York.
Oh, right.
But I missed that one. I was like, you know what? I'm not ending the year without going to one of these events. I was mad I didn't go to the very first event. And so I kind of had to get over this like fear, kind of a fear I had. I've traveled on planes before, but I just never flew by myself. I was always with like a huge baseball team. So it's a different vibe, especially traveling across country by myself. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I went there by myself, and oh my gosh, I had the time of my life. I wish I never came home. Besides getting sick at the very end. Because I got really sick with the Rona.
Everybody did.
But in hindsight, I'm just fortunate. I didn't get sick in the beginning of the trip. It was like at the airport when I started to feel really, really sick. So I waited the whole trip, had a great time with everybody. I missed my flight Sunday, so I got to spend an extra night Monday. Yeah. So my flight was originally for, I believe, like Sunday afternoon. Yeah, Sunday afternoon. And I was at the convention center where everybody was, and it was as soon as they announced like one of the I think who was on there? It was like a big display, big audience was about to get set up and everything. I forget what it was for. I had just met K Collections and Callie. They just walked in, and I was like, oh man, I was supposed to be leaving as soon as this event's starting. It's like, I'm gonna stay a little bit, like at least like 20-30 minutes. And so I stayed like a half hour. And Jeff, the guy's house that we're staying, he's like, you didn't leave yet? You're cutting it close. And I was like, I think I'll be good. And so I'd leave then. and we had more traffic than we expected, and there was an accident. So I was like running really, really late. The Uber driver was like, "We're gonna be close." I was like, "Oh no!" So my anxiety is going, and we get to the airport. I'm like 15 minutes before my flight. I didn't have to check in anything, so I thought I could just maybe, get
Just
right
walk on
in.
the plane.
Yeah, basically. And I get there like 10 minutes before. They're like, you have to be at least 15 minutes before. I was like, no way. Luckily, the Uber driver did me a favor. He just waited right there and was like, if you can't get in, come right back out. So that way I don't have to take a shuttle. And they scheduled my flight for the day after for no extra charge.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, extra night in Cali, let's go. So it ended up being a great time. But
But isn't it strange meeting everybody in real life that you've seen like on
I was
YouTube
overwhelmed.
or
I was overwhelmed. As soon as I get to the convention, I'm meeting everyone. I start like sweating profusely. I think it was the VeVe bros. They woke up. They're like, "Dude, you got a sweater on under that shirt? You're sweating like crazy." I was like, "Dude, I don't know what it is. I think I'm just overwhelmed seeing all these people like at once. Like everyone's like saying hi. I was just like, I had to go to the bathroom a bunch of times, like wipe the sweat off my face, change my shirt a couple times, but it was amazing. I can't wait for the next one. Do you have any plans on going to one in the future?
yeah, I want to go to wherever the next one is 100%. The only problem is I'm just hoping it's not in America because at the moment I can't get into America. But
Oh, right. I
but
I think they're talking about Canada.
yeah,
Isn't there like
but
talk? That's still kind of ways from you, I know.
I'd go to Canada 100%, but I'm not quite sure if they're set in stone on Canada. I hope they are. That would be cool. I mean,
It's kind of just like hearsay right now.
yeah, I'd go to New Zealand. I'd go to Japan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Japan would be wild. That would be a crazy time. I don't have any fears of flying now, so I feel like I can go anywhere. Just as long
We'll
as
all
I
just
have,
meet.
yeah, exactly. As long as I have enough money for it, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, definitely. But it's been, I don't know. The first time I went, obviously, to London, you don't know what to expect, do you?
Right.
And it's like you meet the team and it's like, oh, you're in real life. And oh, wow. I've taken a picture with David, I've taken a picture with Dan, and it's just,
Right.
wow, and
It felt
meeting
good to
his,
finally meet them.
yeah, definitely, and seeing Chris and Alex and the rest of the mods teams and the rest of the team, it was just far exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. Same here. It blew everything. Like I had a vision for it, and then it just blew everything away.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I love those. I love the VeVeCon is what I should say. The decon events, like people were saying before, the London one that you went to was a little bit smaller, but it was still like a VeVe event, a VeVeCon basically. The one in Anaheim was pretty big, but I'm excited to get back to the next live event. I can't wait. Whatever, wherever it is, whenever it is, I'll be there. So hopefully, I'll be able to meet you, Claire, face to face for the first
Oh,
time.
I can't wait for that day. Honestly, it's going to be amazing.
I think it's gonna be more involved too, meaning like as time goes on, a year or two from now, because last year economy was kind of rough. This year economy was kind of rough. Next year, I should say, it could be a little rough too. So once things kind of smooth out, I think we're gonna see more and more people, show out to these events, and it's gonna be so much fun.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of sort of like DesignerCon Anaheim, I won a competition with the Omi Homies.
Oh, shout out to Max,
And guess what arrived today?
Max and Janie. What's that?
Can you see it?
Oh, is that the
The Jermaine
Jermaine
Rogers.
Rogers? Yep, that's the Jermaine Rogers t-shirt. I saw them waiting in line for it. And you know what? They were right. They were telling me, I think I asked him what time we should get there for it, and he goes, dude, I think people are getting there like 5, 6 a.m. I was like, whoa, after a night of partying, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to make it. And they went and they lucked out. They were able to get one somehow. So shout out to Max and Janie, Omi
Oh,
homies.
Max and Jamie. Oh, honestly, they did a competition and I won it. And I've now got both of the Jermaine Rogers t-shirts because, like them, I stood in line
At
from, I
London.
think it was
In London.
before 5 in the morning.
Whew.
So, and I think they missed out on the London one, but
Oh.
they learn.
I was gonna say they
That
learn.
happen again. Oh wow.
That's
No,
awesome.
yeah. Oh, I see you've got the t-shirt. Is that the t-shirt that David Yu was giving out?
It is. It is the black and or the silver and gold one. This is one of my prized possession, the VeVe shirts. I still have the early ones that they gave out too, but I like to wear them. So
Fair play.
it's a tough battle because I'm a collector too. So like I want to hold them, but like I like wearing the VeVe shirts. I love it. So I'm holding one that I never opened from the first batch that they gave out. So that's kind of like my collection that I'm never gonna
That was
open.
in the light box, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
still haven't opened mine.
no, smart move.
No,
You're a true
I
collector.
even haven't opened the packaging.
You're a true collector, Claire. You're a true collector. I think people that's actually the smart move because a couple years from now, people I think will be offering you. You're gonna be turning down offers like crazy. I think in the next couple years because untouched, still in the package. That's amazing. It's the first ever VeVe merchandise.
I just remember I wanted it to be a big event when I opened it, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I kept saying, I can't do it. Like the collector in me was like, "Oh, I want it brand new in packet, brand new in box," and yeah. And then so much time went past, and I literally the box is on display, and I pass it every day, and I just look and think, "Oh, I love this."
Yeah, I would keep it closed. That's awesome. I remember I came home and my dad's like, "What did you get in the mail?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I had to sign off or something." I'm like, "What?" So I had no idea what it was, or else I don't know if I would have opened it or not. I would have at least made like a video of it, of me opening it. I'm kind of mad I didn't get a chance to do that. Because then I went online, I saw Cavell, he made a whole video. I was like, "Oh man, I wish I knew like what it was before I got it." But so, talking
It took
about
longer to get to the UK though, and so I had seen Poor Man Printing. He'd done
okay.
the
Shout out to poor man.
unboxing, so I kind of lived it through him. So it made it easier not opening mine
Yeah.
because I knew what was in it. Now,
Right.
had I not have known what's in it, and I
Probably
mean,
would have opened it.
yeah, but the guy he said, this is the delivery guy. He went, "This is the first time I've had to deliver something from New Zealand. What is it? Lamb."
That's hilarious.
No, not.
Probably not.
Well, let's just say it just stank my house out by now.
Right. Right. Yeah. Especially not opening it. Now, one thing I want to talk about, since we've been through a bunch of, bull markets, bear markets, we've been here for a little while now. What is your strategy currently in the market or your collection? Are you kind of just holding? Are you buying or letting go of some pieces that you don't like? Like, do you have a strategy or kind of just playing it day by day type thing?
I suppose maybe MCP is driving my need to want to close the sets, but I think that would happen with me anyway because it's kind of like if I have one and then it comes into that part of the marketplace app where it says this is what you need to finish a set, that then it's almost like an obsession of mine.
It triggers
Donny
you
will
there.
always stay there. This, the silver Moogly, platinum Moogly, he'll always stay there. I gave up on them last year, so I'm at peace with myself never owning them.
Right.
But yeah, it's just strange. For example, like if I've got 2 stamps out of a set of 5, then it'll be my mission then to get them 5 to close the set. But I do like the majority of the things. I prefer the 3D collectibles because I like taking them out, and I probably get more fun out of them. But then, we've seen so many of the Star Wars posters, and yeah, there's just so many cool things, and
so much.
I probably try and get everything. I want I want to catch them all, I suppose, is the best way. And I've had to learn to buy duplicates because, we're not rich.
Right.
We have to find ways, gem survival. If I put something in the market, it's gem survival. Yeah. I went to, when you buy something, sometimes you think, oh, I'll buy a couple more and that'll help me dollar cost average into that collectible. But yeah, I mean, Pilly Fantasy has got to a point now where I'm actually embarrassed how many I own.
That one
So
got hit hard. I feel like that's a longer term play though too. Like the people who that is really for, I feel like aren't even really owning the VeVe app just yet. So you kind of have to deal with like the patience part of that, waiting until kind of the fan base really hits the VeVe app. And that could take a while, as we know, but I think it's eventually going to happen. So long term, that
definitely.
could end up being a great play, you know.
And, but it's kind of strange because it's beautiful. And after you buy like 10, it's still the same collectible, just with a different number. So at what point do I stop? And then
Right.
I've got over 100 of them now, and it's just still growing,
If you had to pick one, because you like the collectibles a little bit more than the comics, right? Because you like the 3D
Yes.
part where you can put them in AR and really show them off. Is there one collectible, I would say, besides Harley Quinn, Steve Pugh, where if we can have avatars in the VeVeVerse, what would be your avatar if
Ooh,
it's a
that's a good
collectible?
question. Because I suppose I use Harley Quinn as my profile picture at the moment. So but trying to think.
Because I know you would use Harley as your avatar, and that's a big stunt too, because that's it's a first edition, season 1. Not many people have it, so it's OG. And it looks great too. I mean, but if you couldn't,
Yeah,
if it's like a day where you wanted to switch it up, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna pick a different avatar today for some reason. What collectible would that be, you think?
him.
Oh, that's another scare season 1. That would throw people off. I don't think people would expect that one from you.
Well, him is something that Gareth, my husband, always wanted. And we sold a Pride at the time. And I remember having to put on Twitter, I am selling because I need to buy him,
Right.
And people were giving me messages thinking I was looking for a him as in a partner, and the amount of dates.
That's great. It's like, no, the VeVe collectible him. That's
It was like
hilarious.
VeVe Tinder for the day. It was,
Oh man.
So we ended up getting the him, but the him is really his. But when transfers sort of cease to exist, I couldn't give it back to him, could I? So him stayed.
That's great. So now you got the him.
So I've kidnapped him, basically.
So he'll see you with the avatar and say, "What? That's mine." That's great.
I take pictures of him and send it to Gareth, and then he uses them as his profile pictures, but he doesn't actually own it in his collection. He has to live through.
Eventually, I do see, because we're starting to see with the whole Twitter Blue experience now, where you can link your NFT as your profile picture. I do think eventually VeVe NFTs will be able
That'd
to
be
do
good.
that. And I think that's when we really start to see an influx of what is VeVe, a bunch of new users coming in and just trying it out. Because if we could do that on Twitter, Instagram, all these other social media platforms, and it's verified as the first appearance of Harley Quinn, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and it's linked and it's confirmed, that's authenticated, people are really going to say, wait a second, I want the authenticated Harley Quinn, verified, limited edition. And there's only so many. And I could really see that help that mass adoption happen.
Oh, definitely. And it'll be interesting because, I don't think we'll see as many Donnies then on Twitter.
No, we'll really find out who the real Dottie owners are, I guess, at that point. Are you just stunting or you really got it?
That'd be funny though.
Now, we all know the ups and the downs. Everybody has some good moments. Is there anything through your VeVe journey that you may have a regret about, or you don't really have too many regrets and it's all kind of just been like a lesson learned type thing? Or is there anything specific that was like one move that you wish you didn't do or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've got plenty of collectibles that I should have just waited to buy.
Okay.
Donald Duck and Daisy Duck Golden Moments. I think I paid 2K for it. I thought
I overpaid for that one too. I paid like maybe like 1,200 for mine. for my first one. Second one I got cheaper, but I think everybody overpaid on that one.
Yeah, I've got quite a few that I'm a wounded bird over, and I mean, we've all seen our vaults climb up to the hundreds of thousands, and we've watched it come right back down, But the
So
reality is that I
patience.
would never have sold anyway. So, I could have sold it technically and paid off my house and bought another house, but no, I've still got VeVe app.
Right. Same here.
Like,
Crazy
so
time.
different.
Now, Silicon actually talked a little bit about this on NFT Pirates channel. I didn't watch the whole thing today, but I watched a little bit. And one part I heard him talk about was, the all-time highs that come back down. And he too believes that we're so early in this space to where he's not confirming anything, but 3 to 5 years from now, that could just see like a blip on the radar, because when you rewind and look back at the stock of Amazon, and I always use Amazon as kind of like a similar company in ways. It's not the same, obviously, but just similar to where I forget the exact price Amazon started out at, but just say like $13. It was something crazy cheap. And it went up to maybe like $30 and then came all the way back down to like 20. And that just seems like a blip on the radar. $30, you might have seemed like you overpaid like crazy, but $30 compared to, a couple $1,000 where it's at today, it's like, don't care if you paid for it. So I'm not saying that's the same as VeVe, but when you look long term, it could just be a little blip on the radar. We could go way past that, 5 to 10 years, who knows, but it could just be looked at as, just the first pump of many in the future.
Yeah. I think we forget sometimes, don't we? I know it's a cliche how early we are, and
Right.
it's not until you start talking to, I call them my real life friends, as in people I actually see living around me,
Right.
and they haven't got a clue. They see crypto as a scam because one of them's been scammed, and then that's it. And you talk about NFTs, and I might as well be telling
Right
them
over their head.
buying. Yeah, I'm sure they would have less reaction if I told them I was buying a ticket to the moon. Honestly, they're like, when somebody goes, "Yeah, nice, Claire."
Right? Same thing happens with me. Like, nice Batman, Johnny. Cool picture. It's like. I say this all the time too, like not just that we're early, but I also equate this analogy so much to people. It seems probably redundant now, but to me, it's so similar to when music went digital. Like I remember the Wild Wild West days of Napster, LimeWire, this illegal downloading of digital music. Everybody's like, digital music is the biggest scam. It's never gonna last. And that was the Wild Wild West, kind of what we're getting out of right now with the whole digital collectibles. The OpenSea Wild Wild West, in my eyes, is like the LimeWire Napster back then. And it didn't happen overnight. It took a handful of years from the speculation and digital music as a fad to, oh no, Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, licensed, digital music. And I think the same thing's going to happen with VeVe in the digital collecting space. We're in the midst of it day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute. So it's going to seem like a long process, but time flies. In the next 3 years, 5 years, I think digital collecting is just going to become more of the normal standard. I think there's always going to be physical collectibles. Same with the physical records and CDs and stuff like that. But it's going to become the norm, the standard digital collecting. It's just going to be obvious to a lot of people, I think, in that point. And we're the pioneers of the space. So,
I mean, when you think about it, it's nearly 2 years now. And, I remember way back in the day when we used to speak, and you used to say, we're part of the first 10,000 in this app,
Crazy. And shout out to J Kill XRP and Mrs. J Kill. They're early too. I think they got in like mid-March. And when we were trying to figure out our VeVe birthdays and how many users were in there, he told me when I joined, there was less than 5,000 people. So you were in like the less than, I think, 5,000 people too. So I always thought it was less than 10, but I think there was only 4,000 people.
Wow.
It was it felt like that too, because we would leave comments on like the feeds, and a week would go by and we would still see the same comments on there, like before the spam comments. Like Crazy.
I just remember we used to constantly be like chasing David Hughes' Instagram with all these stalking him, waiting to remember like where's the next move?
100%. 100%. And I would always tell people too, I'm like, if you guys want any kind of insights or, you know, predictions or, you know, where you can kind of guess what's coming down the road, just stalk David Hughes' Instagram. Just look at all his posts because I think he's leaving clues. Like, I still think today, if you go back on David's Instagram and look at all these photos, it feels like he was just taking snapshots of him getting all these licenses and his travels of like pre-VeVe coming out. And maybe it's not it, but it feels like he's like just leaving breadcrumbs all along the way.
It's just, but yeah, the community was small back then, though. When you look
So small
compared to what it is now, and we all used. It was just speculation. There'd be like 2 weeks between drops. We'd all
Yep.
be. We'd all be. Is today the day the market opens?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is the market finally open? Like it went a good month and a half, I think, with the market closed, and that was a lot of people's first time getting the VeVe. So can you imagine the people that stuck around, believed in it when they first found the app? There's no marketplace, and you have to go to Telegram, but don't get scammed.
Oh.
People are probably like, what? Like, what is it? But it feels so good to, you know, see a lot of the similar faces too that were around back then. I'm still in, like my guy Franelations for me, he's like one of the people that in my head like validated the space because he was like one of my first friends I met on the app the same day I found it. He found it like a day before me, and I got to know him. I found him on Instagram, and I saw he was a big time shoe collector, like physical shoe collector for years and years and years. And so I saw him get into VeVe and really started dive hard into the digital collecting space. And so I was like, oh wow, okay, so it's not just me who's not really a collector. I'm seeing physical shoe collectors dive in hard into it right now. So I'm like, okay, it's not just me. I see other big time collectors. I'm not crazy. I think we're just extremely early. For me, I thought it was gonna pop off like next month. That's my biggest mistake. Is like I had time to be patient. I just thought I was late, and I was trying to grab everything before it exploded. And then I realized, well, I got some time. You know, we're that early.
Oh, should I tell you what? You know, when you look back and you think, oh, wow, I remember that day sort of thing. And to me, it was watching Crypto Far West's first.
Oh, his first one, the part one.
WTF VeVe. And that moment where they say, and Marvel's coming and the music changes.
And everyone, the crowd goes crazy. He does such a good job at capturing like moments and turning into like a real movie. Like shout out to Crypto Far West, man. When part three,
I know, I was gonna say that we need part three.
I think he's waiting for the right time. But you know, I can't wait for that to come out. He does such a good job. And it's fun too because he includes everyone from the community. So like you may see like a little pop-up of yourself and it's like, oh, let's go. You know, he included me. So I think he does a good job in including like a whole bunch of people from the community to make them feel special and part of it, you know.
Yeah, I think that just always, it kind of hypes me back up and reminds me of that feeling I had when I first watched it, and makes me excited again to what's next, you know.
I gotta watch it again. Yeah, when Lambo, can you believe it's coming? I remember them unveiling it at Decon Anaheim and watching David and Dan pop out of the Lambo. I was like, oh my god, this is a movie right now. Crypto Far West, if you're watching this, try to find. I think I a lot of people have the video of it. So if you need it, let me know. But try to include the part of David and Dan opening the doors to the Lambo and walking out, because that's iconic. Like finally.
VeVe blue.
Yeah, the VeVe blue one. And to find out too that I think Alex and Reese were the ones that had to drive it from, I guess, the dealership to there. So I bet they had some fun whipping it.
Whoa. Let's hope they didn't drive it as if they stole it.
Right. Like I think it was that. Maybe I think so, but whoever it was, I bet they had some fun driving it. I bet it was a little nervous too. You don't want to crash it, bump it into anything, but
Oh wow, the stress.
yeah. Now, one thing I want to ask you, we know the VeVeVerse is rolling around the corner. We don't know when, but eventually it's going to roll out in small iterations, of course. But did you have any kind of future plans with your collection in the VeVeVerse to kind of like make a business out of it, or anything you've really had lined up, or nothing yet?
I suppose, do you remember when people used to talk before about renting collectibles? And I used to
Absolutely.
think, how would that really work? Why would somebody want to do that? But then I was thinking, after seeing the VeVeVerse and stuff, I was thinking, do you know what? You could like hire a Donny for the day just to flex. So
Absolutely.
if you've got your little party and your stream happening in your house, sort of, in your space, then,
It
you
might
could
be
hire things in.
right. Absolutely. I agree with that because I think they talked about too. Maybe it was just at Anaheim, or I think they said it, on YouTube videos afterwards. Like, we're gonna be able to live stream inside of our actual VV homes, like you're saying. So maybe like on a special AMA or special drop or something like that, everyone's piled in, and you rent out the Lambo for the day or something like that, or rent out the Donnie or Claire's Harley Quinn or something like that. So one thing that I
It's
always
going to be
visioned
nuts.
one thing I always visioned, and I felt like you would crush this, is I've always been hopeful of having an admission fee just to come in instead of, coming in for free. Maybe it costs a gem or two gems to come into your showroom, your museum. And I feel like someone with a collection as big as yours and someone who's pretty prominent in the community, I think people would definitely love to see your collection for a couple gems. So I felt like that's something that you would definitely crush.
But for me, I'm desperate to get one of the Voltaholics to do it for
Oh
me.
yeah, definitely.
So,
Showroom
commission.
designing. So
I know.
that's another job.
I can't do. I've got no skills when it comes to the showroom, so I'm gonna have to pay somebody to do mine. I know it,
Right, right. It might get a little bit
But
easier once like we have some tools and stuff like that on the desktop, but yeah, it does take some time, and you definitely need some patience and
yeah, I chuck my phone or something, or things. Yeah, they just don't do what I want them to do. Like half of them's gone in the ground or something, and then you try and move it, and you've got the other one that moves and not the right one and stuff.
absolutely.
But
One of the other things I want to talk about, since it's relatively new, I guess you would say, is you became an official Discord mod. I know you've been doing it for a while, but I think it's like officially out there and everything. So I wanted to say congratulations. And how did that kind of come about? Was it something you've always dreamed of doing, or is it something ever since you started doing the Discord, or is it something that kind of just popped up?
well, I was mainly on Twitter, and then because of like Women X VeVe and trying to get the name out
That was
there
my
and
next question.
trying to generate more kind of avenues for people to speak to us. It was during a stream with Alex that we did that I said, oh, why can't we have a women's channel in the Discord? And fair play to VeVe, they gave us our women's channel. And that then resulted in me being asked to be a moderator, which, I've had to learn how to use the Discord pretty fast,
Right.
because you need more skills to moderate than just your normal just giving a message. So that was back in, I've been doing it for like 16 months, something like that.
Ooh.
So yeah, and I know we're getting a lot of flack at the moment, but when we started, we were not getting any money. There's a lot of us that probably put 30 plus hours a week in. We
For
spent
free.
a lot for free.
Right, exactly.
And it
That's
was
something
only,
that's something where I think people don't really know. And that's kind of what I wanted to bring up, because people don't understand how much work you guys all put in. And you guys weren't getting paid. It was something, you did for the company,
we all did it for free.
exactly.
And, you know, we do more than just what people, it's not just a case of making sure the channels are safe and making sure everybody's happy and making sure that everybody feels that they can contribute and try and think of new ways to engage. But we also help with people when they have questions. We also help, like, almost if somebody needs technical help, sometimes instead of them having to wait X amount of days for a ticket, we might be able to help them in a ticket system that we have, or we would say, no, you need to do a support ticket. This is what you need to do. So we also help out with the sort of like the app feed as well. So there's a lot more that we do that people don't know that we do.
And that's big because we all know the VeVe team's pretty small team. So any extra help like that, you know, it goes a long way. So you guys do a lot of work.
Definitely. And we've got like language channels where we're trying to engage people from obviously different communities to come over to the Discord. And I suppose it's different to any other social place because, you know, people are expected to follow rules to us. You know, you can't go there and just abuse people.
Right.
So, you know, it's taken a long time to turn the corner and get the toxic nature of the platform out of it. But, you know, a lot of hard work's been done and I enjoy it there. I know a lot of other people enjoy it there, but I suppose, as everybody knows, over the last few months, we've been under a lot of scrutiny and there's been a lot of witch hunts being done. I know it's obvious to most people, but one of my wallets is one of the ones that has been shown publicly. And, you know, VeVe had done this reward kind of series. So the more time people put into it, you would get a allowance where you would be able to sort of swap that allowance into collectibles. So yeah, I think I was called out because I'd sold one, but I didn't actually sell the one I got. I sold the one I already had because I'm funny like that. If somebody gives me something, I can't sell it.
Right. It's tough. It's a tough battle.
So I end up selling maybe a lesser mint just because I can't, or because I've got now an attachment to something that's been gifted to me. But, right. You know, I think fair play to this. He's gone out and said that, you know, what we do, it's a valuable kind of tool for VeVe. They wanted to reward us and we can do with them as we please. And I know that there's going to be more transparency.
Definitely.
And an explanation given as to what exactly we do. That's in the works. It's unfortunate the way that it came out. And
it's one of those things where I think people are kind of just trying to reach for something to complain about right now because it is a bear market. A lot of people may be down on collectibles, investments. It's a stressful time in the economy. So I think, you know, if this was a bull market, if things were flying out of here, everyone's valuations up again, I don't think this would even got brought up. I think it's one of those things where people are just kind of itching and clawing, scratching at where can I complain to? Someone's at fault, you know, someone's. So it's one of those things. It's like a perfect storm of negativity.
Definitely.
Almost.
And there's a lot of misinformation as well. For example, none of the mods have ever been given any OMI. The OMI that I had is because I don't know how you did it, but I did it because I'm a scaredy cat. So I put all the OMI that I wanted in the app before, you know, the migration.
Right. I did the same thing back then.
So I didn't have to worry about how to do it. Anyway, because of everything, you know, I had more OMI and I wanted to get it on the app. So somebody, fair play to them and shout out to them. They know who they are, but I don't want to shout them out in case it exposes their wallet, but they probably know anyway. But fair play to help me out. He swapped my layer 1 for layer 2. So he did all that bridging and everything. But then it became, well, who's been giving me OMI when it wasn't?
Oh,
it was just somebody helping me because, you know, I'm not rich. I can't lose. If I lost 1 million OMI
in a big hit. Yeah,
it's a big hit. You know, that would be something that would take me forever, you know, to recuperate. So, yeah, they took away the stress for me, bless them. And then it became a thing, and he'd done it for a few other people as well. But it just goes to show how the community don't always get it right. And no matter how positive you are, you're a target. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's one of those things too, Claire, where I think most of us understand you have the best intention at heart. There's always going to be people who complain, maybe dislike a move you do or whatever. But I always say, if you know you have the best intentions and you're trying to do everything accurate as best as you can with the right intentions, good heart, you can sleep easy at night, because what someone else has to say, that doesn't apply to you. So it's one of those things where you move in the right way, you have the best intentions, and if someone doesn't like something and just itching and clawing and scratching to find any little thing, I mean, that's on them. So you have a good heart, you try to do everything as the right way. So that's what I would say. You can sleep good at night knowing that.
Yeah, and none of us asked VeVe for it. They wanted to give it us. They recognise what we did, and obviously we're all extremely grateful for that. I think one positive really is the fact that VeVe are employing people from within the community. There's a lot of people that are not mods now, but are actually in the
team
VeVe
members,
team,
and that's amazing to see.
And I think that's brilliant, because it shows that they see worth in the community and they want to give people that opportunities, because then they've got people that are already passionate about their product, haven't they? They've got people that already understand what it's like to be a consumer as well. So I think
absolutely
smart move, but I think it's very bullish that they are employing. I'm not employed, I'm a mod, so I'm on a different thing. But
I agree. No, I agree completely.
A lot of, quite a few mods have been employed by VeVe as well, and that's brilliant to see. We've seen the community managers that have come from the VeVe community that have just been taken up posts recently. So I think people should be looking at it as a positive, and the opportunities there for everybody to get into the Discord and inquire how they can do it. It's not a closed shop, we've all had to start somewhere. So
exactly,
it's just
and it'll blow over kind of like it already has. Like,
yeah,
once the next new thing comes out, people forget, people are over it, and that's when you realize that people aren't really that mad upset about that specific thing. It's just kind of overall mad, and they want to take it out on one thing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I suppose the next time it'll be back an issue is when we get our next round of thank yous.
Right, we'll be back again, but that'll blow over again.
Back again, but then so
one last thing I'm going to touch on is you brought it up already, the woman ex VeVe. Kind of go over how that started, came about, and do you guys have anything planned for the near future before we wrap things up?
So, I mean, it first started when I think it was Dan said, right, I suppose you'll remember, right, way back in the beginning, he said 45% of the users of the app were women. And we were like, what?
It didn't feel like that, right? Yeah.
So we were in the Twitter community trying to find the 45%, and Orange Bag Lady started a Twitter group, and then it was almost like, oh, we found another female, put her in the group.
Shout out to OBL.
Definitely love OBL to bits. So that's how it first started, and then it was kind of like we were all here, we were all discussing drops, and how can we improve on this? How can we enhance what we're doing? And it started off, for example, Wendy started to do the streams with us, and then other people. Shout out to Wendy, and then loads of people were active, and we had Crypto Baby who was doing her videos.
Yeah, shout out Crypto Baby.
I remember she did a video with you with the collectibles, didn't she?
Early one, yeah. It was when the showroom. I don't know what it was called. I forget what it was, but like a showroom inspector, just kind of check out. I think she was going to go the route, check out like everybody's showroom type thing. I think it turned out to end up being like the Vaultaholics. I think that's how it turned out to be with them. So I think it's just amazing. Yeah. Shout out to Crypto Baby.
But I remember you said people send you the collectibles, didn't you? And you
that was something I did in the early days too. I was like, how can I try to, because kind of same philosophy. I want to just get more people from the community involved. So they would send me a collectible. I would put it up in a video but then some of the collectibles started to go up in price, and it was like, I don't know if we should be sending these collectibles back and forth like they're nothing. Like the gold Moogly got up to thousands of dollars, and so it was like, let's maybe hold off on this idea. But
yeah, but I mean that's how it all started, and then we've gone through periods of being really active, and then we've kind of taken a step back. And so recently we've got new women that have joined the community that are really wanting, to be part of it. And we've gone through a rebranding. So we've got a new logo, which is brilliant. We do like parties in the Discord, and we've got a Twitter space on the 27th of December where we're going to be giving giveaways, and we've got
27th?
T-shirts. The 27th, yeah.
Okay, December.
So that's going to be in a Twitter space. That's going to be run by Miss Gecko and VeVe Magic and VeVe Fambam. So they're going to be running that with other women that you'll all know from the community as well. So that's going to be really fun. And we've got some of our logos on T-shirts, so it'll be the first time that we've got the T-shirts, and we're going to be giving them away. So that's going to be quite cool. So
that's amazing. You guys got a lot of stuff coming up.
I know, and then we've just sorted out our mission statement, so we're just going through the last stages of that, and then we're going to be kind of like reaching out to see if there's any other women that want to join in, and we just want to build from where we are now, and we're becoming more professional, and we're just trying to have fun in the space, really. And yeah, it's good fun. It's hard work, but we enjoy it, and we hope that it will help bring more women into the community and feel that they've got a voice and a role and can help us, so it'll be fun.
Definitely. So we have so many things coming for the Woman X VeVe. We have the Twitter Spaces, December 27th. What were some of the other things that you have cooking up? Because I know you guys were busy before, and there's been some, ups and downs throughout the community, especially with the economy, going where it is. But I bet you guys have a lot of things in the works coming. So what were some other things coming?
Yeah, we're still in the idea stage. So we're doing the Twitter Spaces. We want to be more prominent and doing Twitter Spaces as Women X VeVe in the future. We do like a party, we call it, on the Discord, so that we're holding a space there on the Clubhouse. We're going to be looking at how we can use the YouTube channel more, what we can do in the future, hopefully try and kind of discuss more of the women artists that are on the app, and promoting the women in the space. So we've got a lot planned. It's just
matter of rolling it out.
We need to get the plans in motion, but we're still capturing ideas. So definitely. Yeah, and
I'm excited. I'm excited for what you guys have done in the past, interviewing some legendary people in the community already. So I'm looking forward to it. I love the idea of the whole Woman X VeVe, bringing on new users who might feel out of place, and then you guys have a spot for them to kind of feel included. So I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. Make sure you guys that are listening tune into the Twitter Spaces December 27th after what we just got announced, the Thor first appearance comic book that's being released same day. Do you have a time for the Twitter Spaces of when it's going to be or not yet?
I think only because with time zones and everything else, I'll probably get it wrong. So I know there's reminders already set that you can put on. So you're better off looking for the Women X VeVe Twitter, just in case I say it wrong and you end up missing out. But there's some brilliant giveaway prizes.
Ooh, we got giveaways too. So I'll make sure to put the link to Claire's Twitter, but also Woman X VeVe's Twitter in the description down below. So with all that being said, Claire, VeVe OG, VeVe photography pioneer, Discord mod, I appreciate you so much for hopping on the channel and being part of one of my first interviews. I wanted to make sure VeVe OG was being interviewed.
Oh.
So I had Kyle on a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago now, but This is like a
love
more
Kyle.
formal, definitely. Kyle's an OG. Red Circle Pioneer. I would say this is
Oh,
more of
yeah.
the official, you know, a little bit more official interview. So wanted to bring you on. And
Oh, thank you. But I feel like you've been part of my journey from the beginning. The amount of times.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we joined so early to where, like we said before, the community was so small. We really got to know everybody that was, you know, pretty prominent in this space in the early days. And it's just amazing to see the familiar faces that are still here. We've had some people leave, of course, that's part of everything, but a lot of the similar faces have been here since day one. So it's good to see. Thank you again for being on the channel.
I just remember the excitement of David sending you a message on Instagram and reply to your comment. And we were like, yeah.
It was so early. A lot of people were telling me that's not the real David Yu. People are saying that's a fake account because he only had like 1,000 followers. Like this is when VeVe had like 1,000 followers. So like people were like, that's not the real David Yu. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's the real David Yu. This is why people weren't even sure back then. So crazy times.
Oh, yeah. I miss them times in a way, though. Do you?
Absolutely. And I've always said to people, you know, because we during the bear market, you know, in 2021, like when things were kind of low in the summer, I was like, guys, when things are popping in a few years, we're going to miss these times. And some time went on, and I think people started to kind of realize that sentiment, like things are changing. It's not as small, as tight, as things keep growing, you know, as bigger celebrities start promoting this, as these big IP start promoting this, things are going to change from now, and we're going to reminisce these days that we're living in right now.
Definitely. Oh, but thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Claire, for hopping on. And I'm sure we'll be able to chat again. So we'd love to have you back in the future.
Thank you.
With all that
I'm
being
looking
said,
forward to meeting you in person
at one of these VeVe cons.
2023.
I think so. If definitely,
so.
If not 2023, 2024. You know, one of these years. But
definitely
VeVe
looking forward.
Not just DCon, but a VeVe con. That's what's going to happen.
In Dubai, so we've got the nice heat or something.
Never know where it could be. Never know. But till next time, everyone, appreciate you for tuning in, you know, checking us out. And hopefully you guys learned something. And make sure you guys subscribe, follow Claire on Twitter, and the Woman X VeVe on Twitter as well. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Grinding every day and I did it my way. Black ball from the game.